Hello guys, you're welcome back to the front-end development course. This is the week 1 and the first video, and in this video we are going to talk about HTML and CSS basics. In our previous video I gave you a breakdown of how you're going to study front-end development in 6 weeks, and this is where we begin. Introducing the HTML, we are going to focus on HTML structure, HTML tags, and HTML attributes. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is the standard markup language for creating web pages. HTML describes the structure of a web page. So what HTML does is that it is the language that we use to create web pages, and it actually describes the structure of a web page. And to be able to create a web page with HTML, or to be able to write an HTML code, you need just a text editor like VS Code, Notepad, or Sublime Text. By choice, we are going to do this tutorial with VS Code. So you can go to Google and you just type VS Code. VS Code means Visual Studio Code. So you're just going to type VS Code in Google, and then you're going to download it and then you are going to install it on your system. So if you don't have VS Code on your laptop or on your system or on your computer right now, you can just pause this video and you download it, and then when you finish you come and continue. And then after getting the text editor, you are going to need another software, that is a web browser like either Chrome or Firefox. I have both on my system, but I'm going to be using Chrome. So maybe if you just want to follow the video, and if you want to use the same or exact things that we are going to use, then I would suggest that you download VS Code and then you download Chrome. The reason why I choose VS Code over the other text editors is that VS Code it actually suggests the elements. Yes, once you start typing them, it will suggest and complete them for you. Just need to select from the list. So even if you had forgotten exactly how to form an element, you just be able to locate it in the list, that's in the suggestion list, and then you pick it from there. So let's move on. HTML structure. The first thing we're going to talk about is the HTML structure, and an HTML document has a basic structure that includes the doctype declaration. So doctype means document type, and this declares the document type and version of HTML. So a basic structure of an HTML document has a doctype. There are different versions of HTML, and we have HTML3, HTML5, but we are going to be working with HTML5. So the doctype that we are going to be declaring yes in our code is going to be HTML5. Okay, so that is how we are going to go about it. So, and also a basic structure of an HTML document also has HTML element. This is the root element of the HTML document. So everything that happens on the web page, everything that happens with your web page or your website or your document happens in between the open tag and the closing tag of an HTML element. A basic structure of an HTML document also contains head element. This contains the metadata about the document, such as the title, character, encoding, and links to external style sheets and scripts. And the body element is also included, or it is also included in the HTML basic structure. Yes, so the body element contains the content of the HTML document. So everything or anything that is being seen by the user, okay, everything that is visible on a website or a web page is being created in the body element. Don't worry if you don't understand, or if you're wondering how the element looks like or how to create elements. Don't worry, don't bother yourself. We are going to talk about them one after the other, and once we start practicing our project, you are going to find it very easy, and you're going to look at how you're going to see how they are being created and all that. So now let's move on to HTML tags. HTML tags are used to define the structure and content of an HTML document. There are two types of HTML tags: the container tags and the empty tags. The container tags have an opening tag and closing tag. They wrap around a content. So basically, a container tag has an opening tag, it has a content, and then it ends with an ending or closing tag. An example is here. This is an example. So this is a paragraph tag, and in the paragraph tag, this is the open tag of the paragraph. Okay, so you open less than, you type the tag name, and then you close it with greater than, and then the content comes, and then the closing tag. So the difference between the open tag and the closing tag is that this slash, okay, is being included in the open tag. It just appears right before the tag name is being brought. So that is the difference between an opening tag and a closing tag. And whenever you open a door, you have to close it. So whenever you open a tag, you have to close it. It is very important that you close every tag that you open, even though some HTML elements will run perfectly if you don't close them, but it is very much advisable that you close them. Yes, just to save yourself from any surprises. And then the empty tags do not have an opening tag and closing tag. They do not wrap around the content. So what this thing means is that an empty tag doesn't have an open tag, it doesn't have a closing tag, and it doesn't have a content. Yes, an example is the image tag. So the image tag, it doesn't have a closing tag. You just open it, you type image, you add the attribute to it, and that is it, you're good to go. Another example is the line break, that is the BR. Yes, I didn't include it here, but we might use it when we are doing our simple project for this particular tutorial. I told you we are going to be working with a lot of projects, we are going to be working with a lot of practices that is going to help us get more familiar with our front-end development experience. So we are moving on to some common HTML tags, and they include H1 to H6 headings. So H1 heading to H6 headings. Okay, so among we have H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and then H6. That is what this means. So headings can be written according to H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. You can use any of these elements. Now the difference is that the browser treats H1 element as the most important element, so it appears bigger and bolder than H2, H3, and the rest, and it continues that way. So from H1 is the most important, H2 is the next important one, H3 is the next, H4 is the next, and then H6 is the least important document. So when you display a text using all these elements, you see that H1 will be much bigger and bolder than all of them, and then followed by H2, and then they will all not be in the same size, but they will be arranged in different sizes, and H1 will be bigger and H6 is going to be the smallest. Let's move on to the P. P means paragraphs. Okay, so that is the P element. Paragraph, it is used to display paragraphs, a description or a more information about something. Yes, about a web page or something. Yes, that's why we use paragraphs. So paragraphs basically automatically begins on a fresh line, and then the first letter is always a capital or uppercase letter. So that is how it is. And the img is the images element. It is used to add images to our web pages. And then the A stands for links, and the links is used to add links to our images, links to websites, links to YouTube, links to anything, anywhere. Yes, that is it. We use the links to add links to we use the that is the hyperlinks to add links to our web pages. And then we have list, ul, ol, and then lr. They are all list. Ul means unordered list, and ol means ordered list, and li means list. So they are all list. They are used to add list to our web pages, and then table, tr, and td. They are also used to create. They are all also used in creating tables. Yes, so let's quickly move on to HTML attributes. HTML attributes are used to provide additional information about an HTML element. They consist of a name and a value, and are placed inside the opening tag of an element. Let's quickly look at an example here. So this is the link element, okay, the hyperlink element. Now the part of the element that is being highlighted red is the opening tag. Yes, and the part that is being highlighted violet is the content, and the part that is being highlighted blue is the ending or closing tag. Okay, yes, so the href equals, and then the link not available, or anything that happens, or anything that is being put in the quotation mark, that is going to be the attributes. So the href is the attribute name, and then the content, or what is being put in the quotation mark, becomes the value. It is very simple as that. We are going to be using them, don't worry, we are going to be using them in our projects so that you understand each and every one of them. So now let's also talk about some common HTML attributes. Some other common HTML attributes include href, which specifies the link destination. Yes, where the link is going. Once you add an href, you want to add a link to I told you that attributes add more information. So if you add an href to a link, it adds the information of where the link is going. When the link is being clicked, where it takes you to. So if you add a link to of let's say YouTube, and you click on it, it tells the browser that when a user clicks on this link, take them to YouTube. That is exactly what it does. And then the src specifies the source of an image, where an image is being picked from, where it is being saved, or where it is being hosted, whether from a website or whether from the host folder on our system. And then the alt specifies the alternate text for an image, so it gives more information about an image, whether it is a girl, whether it is a boy, whether it is a puppy, or whatever information, to give more understanding or more information. Yes, that is what an attribute does. And the alt attribute gives an alternate text for an image. And then the style specifies the CSS styles for an element. For example, is the font color, the font size, the font style, background color, and the height, the width, and padding, and all that. So the style specifies the CSS styles for an HTML element. And then the class specifies the CSS class for an element. So an example of a class is header, navigation, list. They are all classes. So the class specifies the CSS class for an element, and then the ID specifies the unique ID for an element. Just like I said earlier, don't worry, don't bother yourself over all these things. Once we start using them, you are going to get yourself more familiar, and you're going to understand them more, and you're going to know exactly what they do more. So guess what? It is practice time. It is time to practice. Now that you have learned about HTML structures, tags, and attributes, it is time to practice. Let's create an HTML document that includes the following elements. So we are going to create an HTML element. So I am sure, and I hope and believe that your VS Code is ready, your web browser is also ready. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to create our first website, our first web page, and these are the things that we are going to display. Yes, our exercise requires that we display a heading using the h1 tag. Yes, the h1 element with the text basic HTML basics tutorial, which means that we are going to display HTML basics tutorial on our web page, and then we are going to display a paragraph with the text. This is a paragraph of text, so we should see this is a paragraph of text on our web page. And then we are going to add an image with the source image.jpg, which means we have to save our image as JPEG, okay, just as we did earlier when we were beginning. And then we will add an alternate text, an image on the page, and then finally we are going to add a link that leads to my YouTube channel. So you are going to add a link and give it the text, visit my YouTube channel, and then we add the link of the YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel. You can use any other link of your choice, anything that you want. So I hope you understand. This is what we are going to do. We are going to display 4 different things on our web page. Let's just begin. So you're welcome to our first practice or our first project. So first we are going to create a folder for this front-end development course. So this folder we are going to name it front-end development course. So front-end development course. Okay, good. Let's press enter and save. Alright, so now we are going to open this folder and then create another folder for this particular project that we are creating. Okay, yes, because we are going to be creating a series of projects, so we need to organize them in one folder. So we are going to create a new folder here, new folder, and name it we are going to name it first project. Yes, first project. So projects, yes, projects. Alright, so now we are going to add the image that we are going to display on our web page. You remember our exercise, right? We are supposed to add an image. So when you open the folder, you see that the image is there. Yes, and we have named it image.jpg. JPEG is a file type and it means JPEG. JPG means JPEG. Yes, that is how we call it. So now let's open this folder in our VS Code. So my VS Code is here. Let me click on it and open. Mine is on the taskbar. Yours might appear on the desktop or somewhere. Yes, so you can just open it wherever you find it. You can go to apps in the start menu and then you close it. You open from there. So click on file and then open folder. Yes, now we are going to look for where we created our folder, where we are hosting this. So you go to desktop. Yes, front end development course is there. We are going to open this, and then this folder we are not going to open. We will only click on it for it to select, and then we will come and click down here, which is select folder. Yes, so select folder, then it is going to open in VS Code for us. Alright, let's wait for it to finish opening. Okay, so trust the authors, yes. Okay, so now let me close this. Now you see our folder is open here and our image is even here. So we are going to click on new file and create our HTML file and name it index.html. Now this is very much important. Whenever you create an HTML file, you have to add .html to the name. So no matter how you save it, whichever name, you can choose whichever name, but make sure you add .html. Otherwise it is not going to open and it is not going to be saved as or it is not going to be seen as an HTML file. Okay, yes, so now let's quickly move on. We are going to declare our document type. We are going to use HTML5. That is what we are using here. So we are going to declare our document type. So DOCTYPE, we just let it here. I told you why I like VS Code, right? Yes, it suggests for me. So let's create our HTML element, and HTML element, if you remember, this is the open tag and this is okay, yeah, this is the closing tag. The difference between the opening tag and the closing tag is this slash here. Okay, yes, so now everything that happens on the web page, yes, to our web page happens in this HTML. So let's create the head element and create our title. If you remember, when we are talking about the elements, we said that the head contains the metadata like title of the web page. So let's name this one my first project, and then let's save and see what we have created. So now we open our folder, and then we will open this folder. Yes, now our HTML file, the one we created, is here. It is hosted here, so we will double click and open in Chrome. Yes, it has opened, and we created our title, which is my first project. So this is how we create titles for websites. Okay, so yes, so we have created our title, and then we haven't created anybody. So we haven't created anybody, so you can see that we haven't added any content. That's what I mean. So you can see that there's nobody. We've actually not even created a body element, and so there's nothing. The place is blank, it is just white. So now let's go and create the body element, and then see and add some content and see how it goes. So let me add another space, body. Okay, so now even though we have created the body, yes, so we've not added the content, so nothing is going to appear on our web page. Okay, so now let's add some content. Now our exercise requires that we add an h1 and an h1 element, right? A heading h1, and name it what? And name it, so h1 and name it HTML basics tutorial. So basics, yes, okay, space tutorial. So this is what we are going to display on our web page. So h1 is not going to appear, only the content is going to appear. So let's refresh. We don't need to go to the folder anymore. Let's just refresh here. Okay, so our first element has been added to our web page, and we can see it is appearing, HTML basics tutorial. So any user can see it. Yes, remember, you are a front-end developer. So now we are going to add our tutorial. Our practice or our exercise requires that we add what? We add a paragraph. Yes, we add a paragraph. So we are going to add a paragraph, and then we are going to name it what? This is a paragraph of text. This is a paragraph of text. So paragraph of text. Nope, not text. Yeah, so let's save this one too, and then let's run it. So like I said, we just go to the browser and refresh. Okay, good. So we've added two elements, that is the HTML basics, and this is a paragraph of text. Okay, yes, so we've added our h1, which is the heading, and we've added a paragraph, which is the P. Now our exercise requires that we add an image. So we are going to add an image to so image.jpg. okay, so now the image is here in our folder. You can see it, and the name is image.jpg. so it will just suggest, and we'll click enter. Now let's add the alternate text, and the alternate text, we are supposed to make the alternate text what? An image on the page. So on the page, image on the page. Good. So now let's save and see what it is going to look like, whether an image will appear. Let's refresh. Okay, good. So now our image has also appeared on our web page. So gradually I told you it is going to be easy and simple, and it is not difficult, and you can actually become a front-end developer in 6 weeks. Yes, you just created your first web page, and you added an h1 element, you added a paragraph, and you added an image. Now we are supposed to add a link. So let's add a link, and now let's go and copy the link to my YouTube channel. So let me go to YouTube and copy, yes, this link to my YouTube channel. Okay, let me copy this one. Copy. Alright, let me go and paste it in the quotation mark here. Yes, so let me paste it here. So paste, and now we are supposed to call it what? Visit my YouTube channel. So visit my YouTube channel. Yeah, good. So now let me add a line break here. Later I'll come and explain to you, don't worry, I'll come and explain to you what this one does. Remember I mentioned it earlier, right? So let's save and go and see. To my first page, refresh. Good, our link is down there. Let's click on it and see if whether it will take us to my YouTube channel. So click on it. Alright, so now it is taking us to a YouTube channel. So we created our first web page and we linked my YouTube channel to it. You can link it to any website. You can link it to any website of your choice. Yes, so let's go and explain why I added the line break. So let me quickly just delete it for you to see how it is going to behave. Yes, and I believe that is going to, let me save, that is going to explain itself. Let me refresh. So you see where it has moved to. So I wanted it to come to the next line. So line breaks are used to display elements on the next line. They don't continue, they go to the next line. So here it is going to open. Yes, when I click on it, it worked, and it worked perfectly. You saw it, right? Yes. So now let's add a line break and you will see. Yes, line break, save, then run. Okay, refresh. Okay, so you see it looks good this way, right? So this is why I just added the line break. Yes, so line break is used to bring elements to the next line. So congratulations, you have created your first web page and you've added 4 different elements. You added an H1, and then you added a paragraph, you added an image, and then you added a link and connected it to my YouTube channel or whichever website that you used as a link. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you share the link and to your friends, and make sure you like